Hello guys, Jared here again, and I'm going to do a review of the third film directed by Jacques Tati, but the second film featuring his Monsieur Hulot character, which is Mon Oncle, or My Uncle in English. So so the story of this is you have Monsieur Hulot again, who's played by Jacques Tati, the director of the films. He in this he has a nephew who's this boy called Gérard Arpel, and basically he kind of thinks more of his uncle than his parents, and they have like a nice bond, and the parents are just very sort of snobby. They're very like rich. They have a lot of technology, and they kind of care more about their technology than their kid. And the boy's father, who's Monsieur Hulot's brother-in-law, he is kind of jealous of the relationship that Monsieur Hulot has with him. And so the father, he's the father of the boy, but he's Monsieur Hulot's brother-in-law. His name is Charles, or it's Charles, I guess, because they're French. And the boy's name is Gérard, and I don't think you hear the name of the mother, who is Monsieur Hulot's sister. So and at the end of the film, he's grown. The father, spends time with his son, and he learned how to have a bond with him, which was a very heartwarming ending. And it's very heartwarming seeing Monsieur Hulot with his nephew and stuff, because like usually with Jacques Tati films, the characters don't really have arcs or anything. His films are just films that you sit back and you can relax and laugh at. But the whole character arc with the father, learning to spend more time with his kid at the end, it was a very heartwarming character arc. And I think the film has a lot of great visual comedy and stuff as well. Like you also have in the film Monsieur Hulot's brother-in-law basically tries to get Monsieur Hulot a job at like this factory or thing, and in this film is when you had the start of the way they portray technology in Jacques Tati films, and then he'd have the technology in that similar sort of way in his next two films, Playtime and Traffic. And I find it's very fascinating, and it forms a lot of good visual comedy, and even like the sound effects that a lot of the technology makes. It is funny. It's just generally funny sound effects. So they have that sort of technology at the job Monsieur Hulot works at, and also at that couple's house. And I really liked the joke where basically they have like this garage where basically it's like when the car drives to a certain bit, there's a thing that detects the car coming, and it opens up the garage roof, and so that's where in the couple's house. And then in one bit they're in the garage, and then like the dog walks past the bit where it scans where the car would come, and it closes it, and they're stuck in the garage, and then they're stuck in there, and they're trying to get the dog to walk back to cross through the thing and let them out. It's just a really funny gag. And I also love as well when like the couple have the party at their house, and like Monsieur Hulot's there, and he kind of messes things up. I like when he gets like the thing stuck in the ground, and like the water keeps coming out, because that's it's stopping the water from like the fountain. So the water's coming out of the ground when it's supposed to be coming out of the fountain, and I love how like he tries to cover it up and stuff like that, And I love also when like he broke a bit of like this like plant thing. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a stick thing sticking up. He broke a bit of that, so then he cuts the rest of it to make them all even, so nobody notices. And that's a really great gag as well, And I should also mention the music. I forgot to mention this in my review of Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, but I really love the main theme to the movie. The you know. And this one has a really great theme to it as well, you know. You know, I really associate the other theme with Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, and I really associate that theme with this movie. And those are my two favourite main themes out of, you know, all of Jacques Tati's films. And yeah, they really are great, and they sound very French as well, and they really make you feel like you've gone back to 1950s France, you know. And yeah, it's just great music. Another thing I should point out is, like, you know, with all the focus on technology, and you know, it's the same with his next films with this character. Monsieur Hulot is very much like the outsider. He doesn't like really fully understand the technology and such, and you know, you kind of relate to him as the audience. And I love how, like, he's like, there's like this jug that bounces, that has like a bouncy end to it, so he drops it, and you know, he's fascinated by the fact that it bounces. So then he gets like a glass out of the cupboard, and he drops that, and it just shatters. You know, that's great. So I think because of that, there's lots of great physical comedy from him. I think also another thing is, he didn't. I think in Monsieur Hulot's Holiday, the only time he ever talked was when he was signing into the hotel, and he said his name is Monsieur Hulot. And this, he did start to talk a bit more, but I don't think he says anything until about at least halfway through the movie, which is very interesting. So yeah, there's also a lot of like great comedy from like these dogs that are walking around France in this movie. Yeah, lots of great comedy with that. It's very great how he used dogs for comedy, and I think there's also lots of good comedy from like the group of kids that, you know, Gérard is a part of. You know, I really enjoyed, you know, that stuff. You know, how the group of kids play pranks on people and stuff like that. And yeah. So overall, I think this is a great film. I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. There's some pictures from the film on the back. Oh yeah, this one's in colour, I should mention, and Monsieur Hulot's Holiday was in black and white, which is interesting. So yeah, I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I would recommend watching Monsieur Hulot's Holiday first before this. But yeah, definitely would recommend. And yeah, thanks for watching, and bye.